lock her up.
Okay, so she'll get the lavalier. And you have that? Do you want to bring it out here for a mic check?
Yeah, but this isn't going.
Did you start the stream?
Remember OBS? You don't need
OBS. We don't need OBS. It just went to the stream spot.
Yeah.
Nothing?
I gotta go to my fix set.
Dude, what can we do to get the wind not to be picked up by the mics?
Wind screens. Turn the gain down. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay. Check 1, 2, testing 1, 2, 3, turning up the gain. That's a little better, a little more. That's great. Jeez, that's perfect. If we can get away with that, that'd be awesome. Ooh. Maybe a touch less. I don't want it squealing on it. You see? Should I move it to the other side?
I was turning up the mains a bit.
How about now? I think that's probably better, safer on this side. I noticed when you're close to the speakers, that's when you get like a lot of interference. You hear that ringy, tinning sound? You hear how like the T's sound like a ringing bell? T, testing, ringing bell. Is that the gain? Is that what I'm hearing? You hear it though, right? Ting, ting, ting. Yeah, that's much better. That's a little better. Keep adjusting it. I don't know what you're doing. Do more of it though. Can we get like more bass? Take the ting out of it. Which ting? This ting or the other ting? Tinging. Thinking about the ting of the thing. Whoop. Keep going. Testing. Talking about the ting, the ring, the bell sound on the T. You know what I mean? Testing. 1, 2, 3. You hear it though, right? What I'm talking about? Ting, ting. It's not as bad as before. But it's like a little woo, woo. Here we go. How come the iPad's dead? Just plug it in.
It's charging.
Okay, testing 1, 2. Still a little bit of that. Still a little bit. I don't know what you got to do to turn that down. It seems like it's worse now. Whatever you did, undo it. Hello, testing 1, 2. Ting dong. It sounds much better now. Whatever that was, whatever you've done, that's the ticket to it. What did you do?
Cut down the frequency. That was probably bad.
Which frequency was it?
It was about 496.
Okay, and then so what do we set at now?
No, that's the frequency that was too high, so I turned that frequency down.
Oh, okay. And those frequencies are in hertz?
Yeah.
Kilohertz. You're killing me and it hurts. It all hurts. In life, pain and suffering is inevitable.
Check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2. Test, test. Mic check 1, 2. 3, 4, 1, 2. Mic check. Check, check. 1, 2. Check. Check, check, check. Body pack. 1, 2. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Check. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not that fun.
It isn't that fun. What is this for?
It can be a little fun.
Yeah, it
Oh
can be.
yeah, I was trying something new. I'm gonna use a podium mic now.
No,
It's
what's this?
pretty receptive. Huh? Oh, this was for the wedding, I think, like a week or two ago. Yeah, but
Sorry. What? Yeah, it does look like that actually. We got some tanks hanging
dos.
back here.
Did you see the video
1,
of
2.
the truck getting hit by the train and the tank on the back of it?
No. Oh, yes. Yes, I did see it actually. The tank on the back. I remember that.
Had a dragon wagon.
Oh, this one.
Good.
But
L'chaim.
they don't want. They only want a little
Yeah?
smidge, dude.
Huh?
Pour is a cup, but not a lot, dude. A very little
Not
bit.
yet.
Why?
What time is it?
It's getting on, dude.
30 minutes. Yeah, we got 30 minutes.
They can. They can have more. They can have their wine.
Okay. laughed up.
Okay. Hello, Rabbi. How are
Hello,
you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, thank you. May I go in front? Will that be okay with you?
Absolutely. Do, do, do.
1, 2.
My cause.
Oh yeah, I needed the main screen. So then, these. Splendid.
Perfect.
How's it going?
Right there.
Hello. How you doing? I'm all right.
Good.
How about you? Good to see you.
Yes.
Not at all. Not at all. Because I'm running out of there.
You're also physical.
Who do you think does his shopping? Just being honest right here. Thank you. And I like your shirt too.
Thank you.
Do you need to check anything?
Sure, yeah, we can. I got a read on the iPad.
Sure.
How are you?
I'm all right.
Good. How are you? I am good.
Hello. How you doing? Shabbat shalom.
Hello.
Well, thanks. How are
Shabbat
you?
shalom. Thank you.
Yikes. Okay.
Starting next week.
Mhm.
Please let me know.
Yes. Yes, we can do that.
Thank you, thank you.
I don't have anything to write with. Is there any chance you could email something about
That's a
this?
good idea.
Otherwise, I will.
Okay. All right. Sure.
Dana, pretty good, so you should
Okay.
get right up on it.
So, check, check, check. That should be good. Check, check, check. Do you need me to say more things, or? Okay, I can say more things. Hello, hello. Check, check, check. Here I am. I'm the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. I'm definitely not the piano man.
Would you like to?
I cannot play piano. I tried in college. I took a class. It went badly. Should I keep saying things, or are we good? We're good? Okay, cool.
And you've got us feeling alright.
Oh, if he.
Test.
Oh,
One,
okay.
two,
But he
one,
doesn't know
two,
about
one,
this
two.
piece.
Testing.
Okay.
La 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 la.
So you said starting on the 20th? Okay, sure. You're welcome.
Yes, I understand.
So we don't have to worry about honors tonight because they're all for Nolan. So that bit, I can either let them sit or hang out and you'll be leaving it. Because they'll have come up for handles. But you're really, yeah, that's fine.
Nolan?
Thank you. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be in that service at all tomorrow, but yeah, thank you for letting me know. And Noah knows this, yes? Okay, good. So that's important. Oh, okay, well, that's interesting. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were saying no.
Yeah.
But we still have a few minutes. Here we all come.
Thank you, dear. You know what? I got this book.
Okay. Yeah, go for it.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it this pretty.
I think you can handle it. I think you guys can handle it.
If you send it to me, I can kind of copy and paste.
Oh, I see what you're saying. No, I don't have to do it.
Send it electronically.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think, well, I just modified the thing you gave me. So this is now the thing that you sent me. It now looks like this.
It's in a table.
Wow, I'm just like
So-
very impressed.
You should have left it in a table.
I just put it in a table because that way I can like look at it and go, oh, and immediately see what's what.
Yes.
And then I had to remind myself to put the cues in the right place because instinctively what I always want is to put the cue at the end of the thing that came right before. And I know that that's not how people usually work. It's usually at the end of the line on the thing that you're doing. But I wanted to read everything like this, and so I want the cue to... Anyway, but I think I put them all in the right place.
Right. And when you send it to me, that way I won't miss anything. Like the Amidah that I did over the summer.
We're all good. I think, but you should have this. It should be the same document you shared with me. I have now converted it.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
It's interesting what they have.
Yeah, I wonder what that was. I'm sure it was.
Right, but I'm saying. Yes. Okay. Cool.
Do you know what the brother's name is? Do you know what Nolan's little brother's name is? Okay. No, he's just a cute kid. Maya Hayom Shabbat Shalom Maya Hayom Shabbat Shalom Shabbat Shabbat Shalom Shabbat Shabbat Shalom Shabbat Shabbat Shalom Shabbat Shalom
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We just sang those words, Shabbat Shalom. We also sang the words Ma Yafeh Hayom, which I'm tempted to say, who knows what that means, and then take an answer from the crowd, but I know we're also streaming, so I won't. I'll just say, Ma Yafeh Hayom basically means, boy, what a beautiful day it is. And isn't that true? I think it's marvelous that on this, I think, last of our outdoor services for this year, we get to be out in this gorgeous space in this gorgeous weather, really enjoying the beauty of the world and enjoying the temperature. It's even a perfect temperature right now. Anyway, so I am Rabbi Abby Phelps. I'm joined here by Mark and Wendy Cohen, and we're delighted to be leading this service with you, and of course also to be getting ready to celebrate somebody, because it's Nolan Craning's bat mitzvah tomorrow. Nolan, did I say your last name correctly? Good. Okay. It's your bat mitzvah tomorrow, as of course you know, and we're very, very excited for her. And she's going to participate a little bit in our service this evening, and also the whole family is going to be welcome to come up for candles. So we'll get to all of that in due course. But yeah, it's sort of a weird transitional moment, I think, right now, because in addition to the fact that it's so beautiful and we're still outside, and it still kind of feels like summer, depending on how you measure things, it's technically fall. Maybe it's not until the 22nd, but we're in that liminal summer-fall space. So I think I'm going to take advantage of both of those things over the course of this service. So for now, we're going to enjoy the summariness of this beauty. And we're going to start by reading on page 2. You will notice as I read the first paragraph of reading 1 that I've changed it a little, but I will invite you to read the next paragraph, and I promise I'm not expecting you to change it. Many are the generations of Israel, and in every age we have sought the living God through Shabbat rest and worship. This time and place hold the power to increase our joy in the eternal. O God, even as we seek you in the sanctuary, or here, outside, admiring the verdant beauty of nature in these waning days of summer, help us to know that your glory fills all space. Make us understand that you are with us at all times and in all places if we but open our minds to you. We feel the presence of your Spirit in our homes and on our ways.
We see the beauty of your creation in garden, lake, and
sky, and in the human form. We hear you in the silence of our own hearts, speaking the truths the heart knows.
May we be your witnesses to the world, your messengers to all the earth.
May we show forth your image within us, the divine spark that made us human.
We continue welcoming Shabbat with the beautiful song Lecha Dodi on page 3. We'll sing 3 verses there, and when we get to the final verse, we'll rise together and face the direction we came in to greet the Shabbat bride.
Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat. Nekabla, lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabla.
Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad,
Yanu el hamichad, Adonai echad, u'shemo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litlah. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat. Nekabla,
hitoreri, kiva orech kumihori, uri shir daberi, kevod Adonai alayich nigla.
Lecha dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat, nekabla.
Oiv shalom ateret lava,
gam b'simcha u'zola.
Tochem unei am segula,
Boi kala, boi לך דודי, לקראת כלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated. We read responsively at the bottom of page 4. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Shabbat cries out to us, hold sacred all that lives, revere and hallow this world, for here you and all life are born and spend your days.
Therefore, we welcome Shabbat, day of holiness, day of life. It is my pleasure to invite Nolan to join us at the Bima to help lead us in the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yikadal v'ikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yom adirach yirutei, v'yom lech mahutei.
בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולם מעלמיה יתברך.
Yitbarak v'ishtabak v'par v'ramam v'naseh v'tadar v'talel v'tala shemei dekudisha
בריחו
le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata
תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
We're all going to rise now together as we prepare ourselves for the heart of our worship coming up and the prayers to follow with the Baruch Hu, the call to prayer, on page 6.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la la la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim. We read together at the top of page 7. Beloved are you, eternal God, by whose design the evening falls, by whose command dimensions open up and eons pass away and stars spin in their orbits. You set the rhythms of day and night, the alteration of light and darkness. Sing your creating world. In rising sun and in spreading dusk, Creator of all, you are made manifest. Eternal, everlasting God, may we always be aware of your dominion. Beloved are you, Adonai, for this hour of nightfall.
Ahavat olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha ahavta, Amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta, Otanu limadeta, שוכבנו ובקומנו נשיח בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו וביום נגה יומם ולילה נגה יומם ולילה ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל אוהב עמו ישראל.
We turn to page 8. One and only God, you have made each of us unique and formed us to be united in one family of life. Be with us, Eternal One, as we seek to unite our lives with your power and your love.
We proclaim now your oneness and our own hope for unity. We acclaim your creative power in the universe and in ourselves, the law that binds world to world and heart to heart.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated. We continue with Ve'ahavta on page 9.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך ושרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם Adonai Elohechem Emet.
We read responsively at the top of page 10. Emet, there is no place where you are not. Even in the wilderness, there is your word.
Emet, that pen stroke of lightning, white fire, black flame, stirs the soul's passion, guide our sacred way. True and enduring is the Torah.
Your truth for us is certain and established now and forevermore. Like Moses, Miriam, and all Israel, we sing out and rejoice.
Ya la la la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norah tehilot
read responsively at the bottom of page 11. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth.
May all who struggle find rest on this day.
May all who suffer find solace.
May all who hurt find healing on this day.
May all who despair find purpose.
May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day.
And may this day fulfill its promise.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם.
Beini uvein b'nei Yisrael, oti leolam.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם.
Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם.
Uvayom hashvihi shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash, shavat vayinafash.
V'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat לדורותם ברית עולם.
Just want to meditate on those words for a moment. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat. The Jewish people, the people of Israel, have kept Shabbat. La'asot et ha-Shabbat, to do, to perform Shabbat. L'dorotam brit olam, from generation to generation. It is a covenant for all time. That's a beautiful chain of tradition that we're participating in by being here this evening, and the mention of going from generation to generation stands out to me this evening in particular as I look at this very multi-generational congregation, multiple generations of one family, folks of all ages. It's so wonderful to see everyone together, observing this period of rest and peace. We're going to rise now for the tefillah, for the standing prayer on page 12.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufia gitehilatacha. Adonai, open my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu
ve'imotenu,
Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor V'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Ha'akol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע מכלכל חיים בחסד מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים סומך
נופלים ורופא חולים Umatir asurim, Umkayem emunato, Lishenei afar. Michamocha bal givurot, Umido melach, Melech b'mid, Umachaye, Umatzmiach Yeshua. V'ne'eman ata l'chayot hakol, Baruch ata Adonai, Mechayei hakol. Ata kadosh, v'shimcha kadosh, u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalucha selah. Baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. We continue responsively on page 14. There is holiness when we strive to be true to the best we know.
There is holiness when we are kind to someone who cannot possibly be of service to us.
There is holiness when we forget what divides us and remember what unites us.
There is holiness when we are willing to be laughed at for what we believe in.
There is holiness when we love, truly, honestly, and unselfishly.
There is holiness when we remember the lonely and bring cheer into dark corners.
There is holiness when we share our bread, our ideas, and our enthusiasm.
There is holiness when we gather to pray to God, who gave us the power to pray.
I'm going to invite you to take just a few moments to focus on gratitude, to think of 1 or 2 or 3 specific things for which you are grateful on this Shabbat. They could start with the beauty of the space where we are and the breeze that we're enjoying and the tweeting of the birds, but it also could be anything that's personal to you, anything else that you see in the world for which you're grateful. Just take a moment to think of a couple of things. Modim anachnu lach she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu le'olam va'ed tzor chayenu magen yishenu atahu ledor vador. We continue with Shalom Rav on page 15.
Shalom Rav
Al Yisrael Amcha Tatzim Leolam. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tatzim Leolam. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Ki Atahu Melech Adon Lechol HaShalom. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tatzim Leolam. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tatzim Leolam.
V'tov b'einecha levarech et amcha Yisrael b'chol עת ובכל שעה בשלומך.
Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tatzim Leolam. Shalom Rav Al Yisrael Amcha Tatzim Leolam. Tatzim Leolam. Tatzim Leolam.
Baruch atah Adonai hamvarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We praise you, God, who blesses Israel with peace. Peace, as I have sometimes mentioned, is one of the few things that we pray for on Shabbat. Generally, we try to just take the world in and appreciate it as it is, but peace is so important. Even on Shabbat, we want to ask for it. And something else we ask for, even on Shabbat, is healing. Healing for all those among us who are in need of it, whether it be healing of mind or body or spirit. And on this Shabbat, we are thinking for healing of Shendel bat Frida Malka, Julie Barakoff, Carol Dubin, Steve Toplinsky, Esther Cohen, Hachazan Sarah Rachel bat Yocheved Alexander, Avram ben Naftuli, Sophia Rubinstein, David Rotter, Keith Mandel, Ela bat Natan Vishoshana, Mark Cook, Dr. Susie Mendelson, Michaela Helen Berg, Susan Garrison, Peter Rotter, Roger Cook, Neil Pinsky, Layla Rosen, David Kleinman, Wendy Schuster, Ann Becker, Kathy Baker, Ann Katz, Diane Redman, Carolyn Newman, Devorah Leah, Yocheved Sarah Leah, Kelly Adiniak, Ricky Spiegel, Carol Rort, trainer, Wendy Pollock, Terry Heyman, Eli Benzman, George Grimm, Patrick Heppy, Morgan Hughes, Simon Leo and Noah Michael, Claire Vivian Gaster, Sybil Suvalski, Bruce Sherman, Shalom Ben Lazar, Cy Cohen, Harav Anat Bat Margalit, Arlene Minkoff, Gary Elderbrook, and Olivia Jane. And to those names, we hold the names of anyone you may be holding in your heart on the Shabbat for someone who is in need of healing. And we join together in the Misha Berak prayer for healing on page 17.
Misha Berak Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berak Imotenu Mikor HaBracha Lehavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We're going to take a few moments now for silent prayer, and then we will come out of silent prayer together with Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom. Bim Roma. Oseh Shalom. Bim Roma. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Hu Ya'aseh Shalom. Aleinu. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. May the one who makes peace bring peace down, bring peace down. Oseh Shalom. Bim Roma.
We are arriving at the point in our service where we're going to transition a little bit from feeling like we're in a summery space to feeling like we're in an autumnal space, which I think is being facilitated by the fact that there's a little bit of a cool breeze blowing now. So there's almost a little bit of a chill in the air. I think the real giveaway that it's turning into an autumnal time of year is that pumpkins and pumpkin-flavored things are everywhere now. And while I was actually kind of distressed to walk into Costco in August and see that there were Halloween decorations, they feel more appropriate now. They feel sort of acceptable. And of course, the High Holy Days are alarmingly close. So with all of that coming, it's feeling like fall a little bit to me. And of course, fall means a lot of things, but one of the things it does mean is Halloween. And you may have noticed that it is Friday the 13th today. Ooh, spooky Shabbos. So, what I thought might be sort of fun and a nice change of pace for this evening is to kind of give a bit of a spooky sermon. But seriously, what I want to do is actually tell a couple of Jewish ghost stories. And you may be thinking, what Jewish ghost stories? That sounds ridiculous. I've never heard of such a thing, and I can understand that. But you would be surprised, or maybe not, by how many Jewish ghost stories there are. There are, of course, many folk tales that deal with ghosts and spirits in some way or another. There are concepts like the Dybbuk of souls that cleave to living people, even though they're the souls of the dead. Probably the most famous ghost story in Judaism is the story of King Saul consulting with the witch of Endor, whose witchiness consists in her ability to communicate with the dead, and he goes to her to ask advice at a crucial time, which turns out to be a mistake, but that's for another time. But also, the Talmud is actually a treasure trove of ghost stories. And I want to take just a second to give my personal pitch for the Talmud. I love the Talmud really deeply, and I think it is especially important and relevant for Reform Jews and for Jews living outside of Israel. And the reason for that is that so much of the Talmud, which by the way is sort of a record of a conversation among the rabbis from about 0 to 500 CE about how Jews should behave, what the Jewish laws are, but also everything you can think of, including ghosts. It represents a grand and very successful attempt to really reinvent Judaism after the destruction of the temples in Jerusalem. All of the rituals that we had relied upon up to that point, we could no longer perform, no more sacrifices, and the rabbis really had to the rabbis of old, I'm not taking credit, but the rabbis had to radically reinterpret Judaism in order to transform it into what we understand today. And that, of course, is something that we, I think, are carrying on a tradition of in the Reform movement. And also, because the Torah sort of imagines that the Jewish people are headed for the land of Israel to establish a self-governing, state there, it can feel a little distant to us sometimes in a way that the Talmud doesn't, because the Talmud knows that we are already in diaspora, that we're spread throughout the world, and that one of the big challenges of Judaism is how to be Jewish when surrounded by non-Jews, both in the sense of remaining Jewish in a cultural sense as a key part of our identity, but also in terms of living our values and interacting with our non-Jewish neighbors in ethical ways. So for all those reasons, also because it's the source of so much of our practice, Passover Seders don't exist without the Talmud, also because it wrestles with timeless ethical questions, also because it's funny, sometimes on purpose. For all of those reasons, I love the Talmud, so it's always a pleasure to share a little bit of Talmud. And I want to relate a pair of ghost stories that appear in Tractate Brachot in the Talmud, the tractate that is, as you might expect, all about blessings and prayers. And in these stories, the rabbis are really grappling with the question of whether or not the dead are aware of what goes on in the world of the living. And I'm going to offer these stories as translated and annotated by Hey Alma, which, if you're not familiar with that, is an online feminist Jewish culture site and magazine, and it has some really great stuff, and I encourage you to check it out. So the first story is about going into a cemetery late at night, not, as Hey Alma puts it, not to get up to teenage antics with a Ouija board, but to get farming advice, as one does. So there was once a man who gave money to the needy during a drought to the displeasure of his wife. By the way, the Talmud is not always so nice about women, but we'll leave that for another time. To avoid her incessant mockery, he slept in the cemetery on the eve of Rosh Hashanah. And that night, in a dream, he heard the ghosts of two young women talking to each other. One of the ghosts said, "My friend, let us roam the world and hear from behind the heavenly curtain what calamity will befall the world." The other ghost replied, "I cannot, as I am buried in a mat of reeds, but you go and tell me what you hear." Just another quick aside. According to commentary by Yosef Chaim, the mat of reeds prevented her body from decomposing quickly, which then kept her soul connected to her body and thereby stopped her from joining her friend in roaming the world. And the traditional linen shrouds that we use for Jewish burial are actually in part meant to help the body decay faster, to avoid exactly this problem. It could be that this girl came from a poor family and her family could only afford to bury her in a mat of reeds, or it could be, alternatively, that her mother might not have known she was buried in a mat of reeds. She might have been buried in a linen shroud, but then grave robbers might have taken it to use for witchcraft, because also there are stories of witchcraft. But at any rate, she can't go forth. She's in the bed of reeds. So the first ghost went and did her roaming, and when she returned, she told her friend what she learned. She said, "I heard that anyone who sows during the first rainy season this year, hail will fall and strike his crops." So the man sleeping in the cemetery overheard this and decided to sow his seeds during the second rainy season. Crops all over the world were destroyed by hail, but not his. The next year, on the eve of Rosh Hashanah, the same man decided to sleep in the cemetery again, this time without even getting into a fight with his wife. And once again, he heard the same two ghosts speaking to each other. One said, "Let us roam the world and hear from behind the heavenly curtain what calamity will befall the world." The second said, "My friend, have I not already told you that I cannot because I am buried in a mat of reeds?" Which is fair. Even ghosts get a little testy when they have to keep reminding people of things. And she continued, "You go and tell me what you hear." So again, the first ghost went out and roamed. And when she returned to the cemetery, she told her friend, "I heard that those who sow during the second rainy season, blight will strike their crops." This time, the man made sure to sow his seeds during the first rainy season, and the rest of the world sowed during the second. So once again, crops all over the world were destroyed except for his. The man's wife noticed that something strange was going on, and she asked him, "Why is it that last year the crops of the entire world were stricken and yours were not stricken, and now this year the crops of the entire world were blighted and yours were not blighted?" And he told her the whole story of how he was basically using ghost gossip as an almanac. A couple of days later, the same man's wife got into an argument with the mother of the ghost of the woman buried under the mat of reeds. And in a moment of anger, she lashed out at her and said to her, "Go and I will show you your daughter. She's buried under a mat of reeds." This is not very nice. The next year, the man slept in the cemetery again, hoping for more ghostly farming knowledge, and he heard the same two ghosts speaking to each other. The first one said, "My friend, let us roam the world and hear from behind the heavenly curtain what calamity will befall the world." But her friend replied, "My friend, leave me alone, as words that we have privately exchanged between us have already been heard among the living." Following this section, the Talmud tells one other much shorter story featuring another ghost of a young woman. A man named Zeiri gave his money to his innkeeper for safekeeping, but one day while he was out and about, she died, and he didn't know where she had put his money. So he visited her grave and asked her where his dinars were. And she told him to go and get them from beneath the hinge of a certain door. She also instructed him to ask her mother to send her comb and a tube of eyeshadow with a certain woman she knew was about to die and join her in the graveyard the following day. So there are a lot of lessons we could draw from these stories, some wackier than others. Hey Alma sort of concludes its recitation of these stories with this reflection. Judaism is ambiguous about the afterlife. But these stories show that people have always been people. And at least in the Talmud, ghosts still retain much of the human spirit and many human desires for things such as adventure, casual gossip, and their favorite comb and eyeshadow. True, fair enough. I think there are a number of other lessons we can draw from these stories, though. And I also want to acknowledge, I said this was going to be spooky, and it wasn't. But it was fun, I hope. And I also want to make sure that everybody knows that there are lots of Jewish ghost stories and demon stories and all manner of other things. So if you want more of these, go to the Talmud. I think my first crucial takeaway from these stories is that as unsure as Jewish tradition may be about what the afterlife will be like, is like, has been like, there is a general consensus in Jewish tradition that death is not the end for human beings, that the spirit or the soul persists in some form. And there are many understandings of what that might be like, but it's very clear from tradition that there's an understanding that that is the case. You may have noted that in that first story, the woman who was buried under the mat of reeds could not join her friend because her spirit was still too tethered to her body. And there is a Jewish idea that after we die, there's a period of adjustment as our souls process what has happened and begin to separate from our bodies. And this is why, if you know anything about the process of tahara, the ritual process of purifying the dead, it includes some very softly spoken liturgy that is intended to soothe the soul and to help it move on, with the understanding that even as these rituals are being performed, the soul is still sort of hovering in the room. And it's also part of what the Mourner's Kaddish is about, because in addition to being a beautiful prayer about the beauty of the world and God's sustaining of life, and also a way for us to process grief when we lose a loved one, it's also understood to actually help that loved one move along in their process as well, helping them to journey toward whatever it is that comes next. So, whatever we may experience after we die, you can call it heaven, the world to come, something else, it's very unclear. There are a lot of conflicting ideas in Judaism and other religious traditions. We can take comfort in the notion that there may well be something to experience. And we also learn from that story, especially the first story, that even in death, ghosts are often privy to all kinds of information, and sometimes information that we are not. And indeed, the Torah forbids us to go to summoners of spirits to talk to the dead. It does not forbid us to do this because it believes it can't be done. It forbids us to do this in part because it believes it's not what we should do, and that the dead might know things we're not supposed to know. So that's something to contemplate. All of that being said, I think my favorite Jewish teaching about the afterlife comes from the famous rabbi and civil rights activist Abraham Joshua Heschel. When he was asked once about life after death, he gave a very curt answer. He said, "We believe in an afterlife, but we have no information about it. I think that's God's business, what to do with me after life." And Heschel is making a point not just about the mysterious nature of the afterlife, but also about how dwelling on it can be a major distraction from the critical work that we need to do in this world while we are still alive. And Judaism is a very this-worldly religion, not exclusively, but it's very focused on what we do rather than what we feel. It's very focused on how we improve the world and how we care for our fellow Jews, our fellow human beings, and indeed all of our fellow living creatures. There's a Jewish teaching that no one can perform mitzvot after they are dead. Our disposition in the afterlife depends entirely upon whatever merit we have accrued during life through the mitzvot and the good deeds that we did then. That being said, our tradition also teaches that just as we can say Kaddish for a loved one, we can perform mitzvot in memory and honor of departed loved ones, especially any mitzvot that they taught us or that they especially cherished. A loved one, for example, who taught us how to light Shabbat candles can be honored through our lighting of the Shabbat candles. And just as Kaddish elevates the soul of the deceased, so too does performing mitzvot and good deeds in their name. During this sacred month of Elul, in the lead up to the High Holy Days, as we take stock of our lives and we prepare ourselves for the demanding spiritual work of Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, I hope that we can also strive to infuse our lives with mitzvot and with good deeds, with acts of justice and loving kindness, for our own sakes and for the sakes of all those around us, but also for the sake of those who we have lost, so that we can honor them and also carry their legacies forward into the future. Shabbat Shalom. Yes.
My brain is working so hard right now.
Okay.
So hard. There's like 4 things I want to share with you
Share.
that just came to my head. But this one, as you mentioned, the month of Elul. I know you're looking at me like I've lost my mind.
I don't think so. Go for it.
All right. Maybe it's the ghosts. Awaken my soul to all its potential. A ladder unique in an infinite scroll. Both a guest and a gift to this life I am living. May I be for a blessing as I come and I go. I come and I go. I come and I go.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We are beginning the process of concluding our service now as the sky begins to darken. I want to invite everybody to rise for the Aleinu, and I think that Nolan has some friends with her who are supporting her this evening, and as a special reward or punishment, I don't know, I would like to invite you all, please, to come up and open the ark doors for the Aleinu. So please come on up if you're willing, and just help open the doors. And we turn to page 18 for Aleinu. Whenever you're ready, go for it.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'atei gdula l'yotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam kelkenu kahem, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ. ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
You may be seated. I think there was a ghost Torah in there. All right, I'm done. Having just made a joke, I do want to get serious for a moment so that we can take some time to recall the loved ones whom death has taken from us, whether recently or at this season in years past, and all those whom we have taken into our hearts with our own. On this Shabbat, we cannot quite yet say Kaddish for Sarah Vida Berman, but we did just recently lose her, and we have her in our minds and in our hearts. We are in the period of Shiva of the first 7 days of mourning for Myrna Grossman and Nancy Ketchpaw. And we are in the period of Shloshim of the first 30 days of mourning for Florian Gelfman and Jim Zimmerman. And in addition, we remember the following yahrzeits that we mark on this Shabbat. We remember Jane Allen, Eileen Arbiter, Phyllis Holzman Bernstein, Eunice Biller, Joseph Blatt, Layla Goldsmith Brasner, Nell Bruskin, Elizaveto Chernaya, Kevin Cox, Norma Cranberg, Ann Descher, Tony Lynn Fabric, Jack Feller, Sidney Fox, Joey Friedman, Larry Glick, Rita Goldberg, Rose Goldstein, Donald Gould, Shirley Graham, Paul Gratch, Phyllis Holzman, Melba L. Howenstein, Alfred Hurwitz, Esther Huxley, Diane Kahn, Miriam Kahn, Claire Katz, Dale Kolstad, Lionel Lee, Albert Levin, Belle Levine, Ida Lipton, June Beverly Lococo, Rose London, Jacob Milhendler, William Ostak, Alan Philip Pearson, Morris Pivar, Sheldon Plotkin, Sol Pollock, Marnie Rabin, Edward Rosenberg, Rachel Sapiro, Gertrude Sharp, Karen Schlensky, Louis Stein, Selma Stein, Lois Taus, Katie Wakeford, Dora Weinstein, Janice West, and Louise Zimmerman. If you are observing Shiva or Shloshim or a yahrzeit for someone whom I have not named or whose name I inadvertently mispronounced, I invite you to share that name with us. In honor of all those whom we have named, also with our minds and hearts on all of the victims of September 11th, 2001, which of course we commemorated just earlier this week, and indeed all those for whom there is no one to say Kaddish, we rise together and recite the mourner's Kaddish on page 20. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, B'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'lamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yithalev v'yithalal shmei d'kusha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, da'amiran b'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. May the one who creates peace on high enable us to create peace with one another here on earth and to comfort those among us who are bereaved. And together we say, Amen. Amen. You may be seated. Before we light candles and say Kiddush, I have some announcements to offer. First of all, of course, a huge mazel tov to the Craning family on the occasion of Nolan's bat mitzvah tomorrow morning. Yay! We hope, many of you I know will definitely be there. We hope all of you will be there. Please join us if you're available. And also, you may join us after this service for a lovely oneg that the Craning family has sponsored. And thank you so much for doing that. So tomorrow morning, we will have Nolan's bat mitzvah service at 10 a.m. There will also at the same time be a community service if you want to go to that. And at 9 a.m. as usual, we will have Torah study. And there will be a Kiddush lunch following the community service. Our Slichot movie series is about to begin on Wednesday, September 18th. We're going to start off with the movie The Life of Pi, which we're showing at 6 p.m. On Sunday, one of these is missing. I think on the following Wednesday, which must be the 23rd, I can do, no, wait, no? Oh, we already did one. Earth to Me. I'm sorry. So we already did Big Fish, and that's what I was thinking of, and now we're going to do Life of Pi. It says it begins, announcements. All right. And then on the 22nd, we'll be watching My Dinner with Andre, and then we will conclude the movie series on Saturday, September 28th, with the movie The Man from Earth, which will then be followed by a Slichot service, which I believe starts at 9 p.m., and that will be a joint service. It'll take place here, but we will be joined by members of Congregation Sinai. It should be a really moving evening, so please join us for that if you are able to. High Holy Day registration is due back in the office this week So please let us know if you're coming by RSVPing. And if you haven't received information or you need any kind of help, please call the office. We'll make sure you get what you need. Also, the Book of Remembrance forms have been mailed out, so please make sure to send those back to us by September 13th. Well, if you want your loved one's name listed. We have something really exciting coming up on Friday, September 27th. We have an inspirational presentation with Nick Winton Jr. If you know who Sir Nicholas Winton was, that was his father, and Sir Nicholas Winton was basically single-handedly responsible for orchestrating a big chunk of the Kindertransport and saved tens or hundreds, I think, of lives, and really was quite extraordinary. And his son is continuing to try to advance his legacy and speaks beautifully. So if you can come to that, oh yes, indeed, 669 children I have here. So if you can join us for that service, please do. On Wednesday, October 16th, on Erev Sukkot, we're going to have another special guest, Tal Schneider, who is the political and diplomatic correspondent for the Times of Israel. And Tal is going to join us after services. So please come for that as well if you can. And of course, if you want more information about upcoming events, keep your eye on the e-newsletters, at the things that are being shown in PVAR Foyer, and you'll learn all about these and more upcoming activities. Now, we're going to light our Shabbat candles, and for this, I'd like to invite up the Craning family, as many members as would like to come up and think we can fit around this table, because I know there are quite a few. Please come up and join us. And you don't have to use that unless we want to. We've got that.
Hi. Oh, so close. There you go.
Organize itself right now. And then move these, and whomever would like to light these, trying so hard. You may give up on this at a certain point. No, come on. Bring out the trick candles.
Great job.
The candle blessings are on page 22.
Baruch
Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Asher
Kiddushanu b'mitzvotav V'tzivanu lahadlik ner V'tzivanu lahadlik ner V'tzivanu lahadlik ner Shel Shabbat.
And we'll join together in the Kiddush. Kiddush is on page 23.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav
v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava
uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh
v'reishit
ki hu yom tefila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim
kivanu v'charta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha v'ahava uvratzon
inchaltanu
Baruch atah
Adonai mekadesh hashabbat.
Amen. L'chaim.
That's an excellent response.
Excellent year.
Fine vintage.
Great day.
We're going to close our service with a closing song.
Did you want to do what we talked about?
You know, you may go ahead and have a seat if you would like to. Thank you so much for lighting candles and leading Kiddush for us. I am open.
Are you open? Because
I'm very open.
I think there's something after listening to your sermon and being out in nature for our last time this summer. Clouds lift, sun breaks through, a day of beauty, a gift from you. Mountains rise, wind calls my name. Each day renews creation, never quite the same. And I thank you for the beauty of the world. The way our brachas start. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shekachalo biolamo shekachalo biolamo. And I thank you for the beauty of the world.
That was beautiful. Thank you. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Lovely.
For letting me just.
Of course. I'm delighted that you had a thing you wanted to do. It's great.
You gave me lots of material.
I'm so fired up about talking for Reform Jews. So much richness, so much practice, so much instruction.
Very
unusual. Why obstacles climb ladders if you leave them? Yes, you're welcome. So he's got what he needs for the moment. Great. Getting a little antsy about moving forward. Well, good. I'm glad he has what he needs, and we'll keep moving him along. We're going to be organized with this now that we know what this landscape is. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Nicely done.